Years ago, when I was new in sales, wearing a full beard was really not acceptable. Today, it's totally acceptable. In fact, it's really kind of in vogue to wear facial hair, a beard, or a mustache. And I just want to warn you about it, though. You want to keep it looking good, keep it somewhat trimmed, and of course, always check it before you go into a presentation. Because if you've had corn for lunch, and you got a piece of corn hanging right on your beard, they really won't be even listening to you. They'll be looking at the corn, they're embarrassed, they don't want to offend you, they don't want to say, do you know you got a piece of corn in your beard? But you know, that's the thing that they're thinking. So you always are groomed. Also very, very important that you work on how you smell. I also suggest that when you put on any type of cologne for the ladies, or perfume, or gentlemen, any type of shaving aftershave, make sure you don't put it on your hands and then put it on your face or your neck. Try to get an atomizer that shoots it on the neck so that it doesn't get on your hands. Now, the reason for that is we're going to talk about when you first meet people, if you do shake their hand, and if there's a strong odor in a perfume, there are people who will look down on the fact that you shook their hand and now their hand smells. Now, I know this sounds a little fanatical, but all these little details added together make you the type of salesperson, representative, that they'll want to do business with.
I was really thinking about, the challenges that I faced when I first got out in my sales career. Keep in mind, I had been, having a very destitute, very destructive life for many, many years. And in 1996, when I was in prison, I made that decision to, transform my life. And I got out 7 years later. The first job that I got was that heating and air conditioning salesperson's job. And I'm out there and trying to make a living. Now, the thing that was really driving me is that I had to get a job. I had to get a place to live so I could get my son. So I was very, very motivated to be successful. And I can remember, being there at the kitchen table, and I just remember being so determined to be successful, so motivated to, earn their trust, to earn the business. Because at the end of the day, failure for me was devastating. It meant I couldn't get a place to live. It meant that I wouldn't get my son. And so I had this burning desire, this deep, deep burning desire to really be successful. And that's where I say good can be the enemy of the great, because I know there are a lot of people in sales. There were people in the company where I was working, and people that worked for competitors. And they could be sitting there at the kitchen table having a conversation with, mom and pop homeowner about buying this heating and air conditioning system, or, buying that heating and air conditioning system, whatever it is. And very often, as we know, that prospects will stall. They'll have various objections and things and reasons why they shouldn't make a buying decision. And in that business, it's very common that people would say, well, let me get 3 bids and talk to a couple of contractors, and why don't you give me a call on Tuesday? And the reality is, a lot of my competitors, a lot of my coworkers, they would kind of accept those stall tactics. They would accept those excuses. And they would say, okay, well, I'll give you a call on Tuesday, and, maybe you call me back or something like that. They would accept those stalls. And of course, we know in sales, Tuesday never comes, because the reality is somebody else is going to come in, and very often they can earn the business from that homeowner. But I remember being at that kitchen table, and I simply was not in a position that I could just take that for an answer. I was not content to allow an unnecessary stall or a smokescreen objection to undermine my success, because I was so desperate. I was so driven to succeed that I had to do everything in my power to be successful. Well, and what were the things in my power? Well, I had to master the sales process. I had to master the techniques that Tom teaches. I had to have a mindset that was geared and programmed and driven to succeed, because I didn't have the luxury of just sitting back and hoping things worked out. So many salespeople, if they're sitting there, not just in our industry at that time, but in any sales industry, so many times when a prospect says, well, let me think about it, and they kind of postpone, we had the luxury sometimes of going back to a pretty good life. We've got our family, we've got our home, we've got American Idol, we've got dinner, whatever it is. And so it's easy for us sometimes to say, well, okay, well, give me a call on Tuesday. I didn't have that luxury. And that's what I mean where good can be the enemy of the great. If you've got it good, that can prevent you from doing the things that you need to do to become extraordinary, to become great.